Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Lord,
Grant me the grace to love you more dearly, to know you more clearly, to serve you more purely, to follow you more nearly.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Fathers. So we shall continue with our theme, compassion, for the practical side of it, starting with self-compassion. Compassion also includes compassion towards the self. Self-compassion and compassion in the community. March 6:31. Come away by yourselves to a deserted place and rest a while. Jesus invites his apostles to have a rest after their ministry. Again, Matthew 11:28, the famous words of Jesus. Come to me, all you are wearied and carrying heavy burden. I will give you rest. He assures us the rest, stresses the importance of rest, relaxation. He said, being kind to yourself is one of the greatest kindnesses. So kindness begins with the self, compassion begins with the self, and then it is extended towards the other. So being kind to yourself is one of the greatest kindnesses. So if you are not kind to the self, then you cannot be kind to the others. If you cannot be compassionate towards the self, then you cannot be compassionate towards the others. And self-care, self-compassion. In other words, self-care is giving the world the best of you instead of what is left of you. So if you want to give you the best of you, then care for the self is important. So self-care is giving the world the best of you instead of what is left of you. So the more we care for the self, the more we will be able to give ourselves to the other. And the self-care is taking care of yourself so that you can take care of others. Care for the self and you can take care of the others. So self-care is a service. Self-care is to render selfless service. Those who are working in the schools, parishes, how much time is given to the people and how much time you have to give for ourselves. So you need to have a balanced approach towards life. Otherwise, you will not be able to give yourself fully to the people. So sufficient self-care is essential. So self-care is a service. Self-care is to render selfless service. Self-care is a duty which brings beauty to humanity. So it is our duty to care for the self. We can speak of 5 types of self-care: physical, mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual. So all the elements have to be taken care of. This morning we spoke about 4 dimensions. All the dimensions are taken into consideration. Physical self-care, mental self-care, emotional self-care, relational self-care, spiritual self-care. The spirituality always comes in the end. So all the basic elements have to be taken care of. The basic needs of the person have to be sufficiently met. And then the spirituality can flourish. Physical, mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual. What is this physical self-care? Physical self-care means food, exercise, hygiene, sleep. Mainly food and bed are essentials. That's why I said in the first day itself, eat well and sleep well, and then pray. sleep are must. In between we also have exercise. So exercise will help us to reduce our extra size. We all need an exercise. So that is a must. Not only the spiritual exercise. Yeah. See, all of you know how much you are taking care. Walking a long walk. That's why you have this 1 kilometer walk from here to the beach. It's very important. Some are even counting and saying that it is exactly 1 kilometer or more or less. It's very good exercise. Hygiene, cleanliness, neatness, tidiness, all this will help. And then sleep, of course. How many hours you have to sleep every day?
8 hours.
8 hours, including the meditation. Apart from that 8 hours. If you're able to sleep for 8 hours, it's really a luxury. It's very well and good. At least 6 hours. 6 hours is a must. Okay. 8 hours is mental self-care, updating and upgrading. Our mind needs to be updated and upgraded always. So you look ever young. Yes, your mind is fresh. That is the meaning of reading the signs of the times. The world is growing fast, but we are lagging behind religious. So we will be outdated. So along with the world, we also keep updating, keep upgrading your mind, keep equip yourself with the knowledge. And emotional self-care. Experience emotions, express emotions. Appropriately and adequately. Should know how to experience emotions and how to express our emotions. Then you will become emotionally intelligent religious. Experience and express. This is one of the important elements, emotions. How do you handle your emotions? If you don't handle your emotions, you will be handled by your emotions. Emotions will get better of you. So only it's called moment of madness. A fraction of a second you can reduce yourself. You can harm the self and you can also harm the others. So everything is in your emotions. How do you handle? For this we need this emotional intelligence. I need to be emotionally intelligent, emotional smartness. How do I experience emotions? How do I express my emotions? Appropriately and adequately. Relational self-care. Helping relationships. Healthy relationships and helping relationships. So we all need good friendships which will help us to do our ministry better, to live our priestly life and mission in a better way. Healthy relationships are important. Relational self-care. Then spiritual self-care. Contemplative and compassionate connection with the divine. Contemplative, compassionate connection with the divine that I established. A deep relationship with the Lord. So this retreat is also time for this spiritual self-care. You are literally 1 week apart from all the busy activities. You have come for spiritual self-care. Buddha says, if your compassion does not include yourself, it is incomplete. When you talk about compassion, and if you don't include yourself, then that is incomplete compassion. So compassion also includes self-compassion. And there are some advantages. We have self-care or self-compassion. Self-care is not selfishness. Reduces anxiety, decreases stress, increases happiness. reduces, decreases, increases. All these are benefits. Your anxiety level will come down, your stress will decrease, and then your happiness levels will increase because you are caring for yourself. All these 5 levels: physical, intellectual, emotional, relational, spiritual. Self-care means being kind and merciful to your own self. I am kind to myself. I am merciful to myself. I am at home with myself. Being at home with yourself. I am at home with my strengths. I am at home with my weaknesses and limitations. In other words, I accept myself as I am. That helps me to accept the others as they are. So at homeness in the self. If you are not home with yourself, who else can be at home with yourself? We can always stand for ourselves. So being kind and merciful to oneself and at home with oneself. It means having a positive internal self-dialogue. And to recognize and reframe your thoughts, feelings and behaviors. And having a positive dialogue with the self. Have a positive internal self-dialogue. Others should not hear what you are talking. Otherwise they think something is not okay with you. Positive self-internal dialogue. That helps us to recognize and to reframe your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, behaviors, and attitudes. That is self-care or self-compassion. Having a positive internal self-dialogue. How many masses do we celebrate? Those were in the parish, Sundays, special days, 4 masses. Even sometimes even more. Andhra Pradesh celebrating whole night for Easter and New Year.
Christmas.
Whole night masses. There are some 10-15 villages, they will go one after the other. When it comes to last mass, almost priest is one out. Scatting his suit as the rest of the 5. They are like a mini priest. Okay. So you become tired and be worn out. That is the problem of many of the priests. Burnout, ministry burnout. So a priest is ministry burnout. A sister it is apostolic all out. That might work and then they avoid it. Because they go without energy. Because they are not caring for the self. Get up early in the morning till late at night, they keep working. No? They need some rest, depression. So if you don't want to experience ministry burnout, then take care of yourself. So in simple words, self-compassion means refreshment, recreation, rest, renewal, revival. These are the words. For us to understand what is this self-compassion. You are doing enough for more of this, no? Sufficiently you get recreation, refreshment, rest, renewal, revival. Without this, there is no survival. Priesthood journey. So we need time for rest and relaxation. Mother Teresa says, I would rather make mistakes in kindness and compassion than work miracles in unkindness and madness. That's so she depends. So you can make even mistakes in kindness and compassion rather than doing so many good works in unkindness and hardness. You're a hard person, hard-hearted person, then you cannot be a disciple of Christ. You cannot inspire anyone closer to Christ because you are very hard-hearted. Whereas if you are kindness, you can be knower people. There are several examples of the saints who have no knowledge. Intellectually they may be poor, but emotionally they are rich. With their kindness kindness and compassion, you can win over the people. We are going to see 5 elements. Yesterday I have seen 15 diseases. We are going to focus only 5 today. Although they are all important. 5 negative attitudes that destroy the compassionate communion in the communities. Loneliness, judgment, criticism, jealousy, anger. There are even more. We shall limit to these 5. They will destroy the spirit of compassion. Loneliness, judgment, criticism, jealousy, and anger. Loneliness, feeling of being rejected, ridiculed, rebuked. It's a terrible feeling, loneliness. I feel lonely. Feeling rejected, ridiculed, rebuked. Many of the diocesan priests are this problem because they don't have community. Whereas the religious are sufficiently taken, at least you have someone with purpose. But in spite of that, people feel lonely. Some feel lonely in the crowd because they feel they are nobody. They feel they have nobody. I have nobody and I am nobody. That is loneliness. That's a terrible thing that can happen to the person. And loneliness is part of being human. It reminds us that we are not complete in ourselves. We need someone to relate with. To be is to be in relation with. Because we are not islands. Always we are in relation. So it's also part of being human. That reminds us constantly we are not complete in ourselves. We need someone else to relate with. The problem in the communities, religious communities today is not fighting, but not talking. It's called not scold war, but cold war. Should be turned as a bold war, in a sense, talking, not confrontation, not confrontation, but confrontation. This cold war is terrible, showing indifferent attitude, being in the same community but then not able to face each other. That is worse than the Second World War. It's Cold War. So that has to be taken. We need to talk to people themselves. Otherwise, we'll carry kind of heaviness within ourselves. And that increases also loneliness. So we are called to be different, not to be different. As missionaries of male Immaculate, as religious people, we are called to be different, not to be indifferent. Because we are not human doings, we are human beings. The feelings that need healings. So our being is important, being in relationship with. Otherwise you become doers. Keep on doing, afterward there comes a time when you feel that we are nobody and we have nobody. Mother Teresa said the most terrible poverty is loneliness and the feeling of being unloved. He speaks about this. Terrible poverty is loneliness. The feeling of being unloved. So if you have that feeling, sometimes there may be moments when we feel this loneliness, then that has to be dealt with. We have to process that negative feeling. Otherwise that will eat up our energy. The most terrible poverty is loneliness. Common timetable we have in the community, the common roof that will not make community, but common good, common sense, compassionate sense, which will promote a community sense. Otherwise, you just live under a roof, common roof, and still we can feel lonely. That's what I mean by feeling lonely in the crowd. So, common timetable alone will not assure or guarantee a community life. A common timetable, a common roof will not make a community, but a common good, common sense, compassionate sense, which will promote community sense. But spiritually speaking, there is no loneliness. Because of that fivefold presence of the Eucharistic Lord we talked about in the first day, no? Fivefold presence, you know, feeling presence, hearing presence, seeing presence, receiving presence, becoming presence. The presence is always with us. If you are aware of the presence, then there is no loneliness, spiritual loneliness. So God is either walking with us or He carrying us. Spiritually, there is no loneliness. Spiritually, we are never alone. That is the assurance given by Emmanuel. You know, that is strongly rooted in the Emmanuel spirituality. God with us, God in us, God for us. So spiritually, there is no loneliness if we are aware of this. And we can remind ourselves about this fivefold presence. Moments of loneliness, at least you can be reminding yourself of this presence of the divine that will help us to gradually overcome the loneliness. Psalm 25:16 says, "Turn to me and be gracious to me, for I am lonely and afflicted." Prayer of the psalmist. Turn to me and be gracious to me, for I am lonely and I am afflicted. Matthew 28:20, the words of Emmanuel again. Emmanuel Gospel. Surely I am with you always to the very end of the age. Gospel of Matthew begins with the Emmanuel passage and ends with Emmanuel saying, I am with you till the end of time. Surely I am with you always to the very end of the age. We shall speak something about judgment, judgmental attitudes. Luke 6:37. Do not judge, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. Don't label anyone as difficult people, but they are people with difficulty. In the communities we have some difficult people, difficult priests, difficult missionaries. But then we need to look at them differently. They are not difficult persons, but they are persons with a difficulty. As persons, still they are good. Maybe their attitudes are something difficult. There is the approach of Jesus. He always separates person from the attitude. Always condemns the sin. Never condemns the sinner. It's the approach of the Lord. So when we are looking at people as difficult people, very difficult to relate with them, we avoid them. And they will avoid us. Life becomes harder. It's with this approach, and looking at them as people with a difficulty, priest with a difficulty, brother with a difficulty, father with a difficulty. So that will give us courage to deal with that persons. Be merciful just as your Father is merciful. Luke 6:36. Mother Teresa says, if you judge people, you have no time to love them. Always judging others, then you have no time to love them. So judgment will take over all your energy. Once there was one husband who was always judging and condemning the wife. If she brings cold water, he says, why don't you bring hot water? She brings coffee, he asks, why don't you bring tea? She brings fried egg, he will ask, why don't you bring boiled egg? So always he will be condemning. So one day she brings both the eggs, fried egg and boiled egg. And she is very eager to see what this fellow is going to say now. And he says, you should have boiled this egg instead of the other one. You should have fried this egg instead of the other one. So there are some people who cannot but judge others, cannot but condemn others. So So if we keep on judging others, condemning others, then we have little space to love. So there is a famous saying, don't judge book by its cover. Some people just look at the cover and say they judge the book. So don't judge the book by its cover. So try to discover, try to rediscover, try to uncover. Otherwise you will be always undercover and you will never recover. Life becomes very heavy. Keep on judging others, you know. Don't judge a book by its cover, so try to discover, try to rediscover, try to uncover. Otherwise you will be always undercover and you will never recover. So the teacher was giving this example. The example for the definition for discovery and invention. What is discovery? Discovery is finding something which is already there. Invention is finding something which never existed before. No? And he gave the example. Columbus discovered America, it was already there. Thomas Alva Edison invented bulb. And then he asked, now you can think of an example. One fellow got up and said, my father discovered my mother. My father and mother together invented me. Very great, you know. That is discovery. Something is already there. So we need to discover always. Discover the beauty in yourself. Discover the beauty in the other persons. Of course, community life has its burdens also. But there is also beauty. Otherwise, you only worry about the burdens. There are three things which can help us to deal with judgment. That is adjustment, amendment, agreement. So these three elements will help us to deal with judgment. Need some adjustment living in the community. Some amendment, some changes. I make some changes in order to accommodate the other person. And then agreement. Some agreement to have a common peaceful living. So adjustment, amendment, agreement will help us to deal with judgment. Otherwise we become a grudgement. We hold on to the grudges. The need of the hour is finding grudgement. How can I build up relationships? Adjustment, amendment, because I cannot change the other. Let me change myself to facilitate the other. Otherwise I lose my peace of mind with an agreement. There is a famous Socrates who speaks about triple filter test. When somebody is judging about others, or gossiping about others, criticizing others, he says, ask three questions. Is it true? Is it good? Is it useful? If it is not true, if it is not good, if it is not useful, then why to talk about it? It's a wise saying of Socrates. Triple filter test. Filter of truth, filter of goodness, filter of usefulness. So truthfulness, goodness, and usefulness. So this will help us before making judgments or comments or gossips. Test of three. Test of truthfulness, test of goodness, test of usefulness. So something is not true, something is not good, something is not useful, why should we talk about it? Neither I am going to benefit nor the other person is going to benefit. Not even the person about whom we are going to talk, he is also not going to benefit. Then why should we waste our energy unnecessarily talking about others? All of the cross, saint of the day. He says, see the good that is in others, always looking on them with great kindness, as God does. Beautiful saying of all of the cross. See the good that is in others, always looking on them with great kindness. Sometimes others are like grass for us. Sometimes we become grass for others. So we need to approach each other with kindness and compassion. In our communities, there is nothing called generation gap, but it's a generosity gap. We speak about generation gap, but there is a generosity gap. Not so much a communication gap, but compassion gap. So if you are able to narrow down this gap, generosity gap, compassion gap, then our communities will become more realistic communities. Criticism. Mark 6, 2, 6 to 7, 3 to 3:22. Jesus was always criticized. So we need to be open to criticism but not be affected by criticism. Because criticism we can never avoid. They will be there. The perfect God man was criticized thoroughly. That is the only consolation for us. Even he was not spared of criticism. So we all will be criticized at some point or the other. Some get criticism almost every day. Maybe that is a sign you are doing something. Okay, otherwise we don't receive criticisms. But the wise criticism is always begins with self-criticism. Yesterday also we talked about. Before giving chance for others, we criticize ourselves. It has become critical, self-critical, self-evaluation can make, self-assessment. So wise criticism always begins with self-criticism. And there is only one way you can avoid criticism. This is the one. To avoid criticism, do nothing, say nothing, be nothing. If you are able to do all these three, you will never get criticism. Do nothing, say nothing, be nothing. Who can do all these three? Only a dead body can. Not even a body. All will do. Which we never avoid. Cannot escape criticism. Do nothing, say nothing, be nothing. It is not possible. So we'll have to deal with criticism. And we should neither let the compliments go to our heads, nor the criticism go to the heart. When we receive compliments, let them not enter our head. We may become proud. When we receive criticism, let them not enter our heart. We will be depressed. So let us have a balanced approach. Compliments are complaints. Come what may, let me maintain my balance. Neither let the compliments go to the head, nor let the complaints go to the heart. In other words, you are called to be sthita prajna. Have you heard this word? It's a Sanskrit word. Sthita prajna means one who is unmoved by the pairs of the opposite. There is happiness, and sadness, and joy, and sorrow. Whatever happens, they always maintain. They are like cool like cucumber. And like cool people. Nothing happens. They can be mystic in the marketplace. Whatever happens, they maintain their calmness, they maintain their composure, they have their inner tranquility, they are very well balanced. Nothing can affect them because they are internally strong. They are very much, they have that self-efficacy, self-efficiency. They maintain themselves in all the situations. And criticism needs to be faced with mysticism and asceticism, prayer and penance. This is the secret followed by many of the saints. You take any of the saints, they will have these two: prayer and penance, mysticism, asceticism. Then you can deal with the criticism. So if you are a mystic, if you are ascetic, you can manage all the critic. Whatever criticism comes, you will be able to handle it. Criticism needs to be faced with mysticism and asceticism. Prayer and penance. That's what he said. When I did well, no one talked about it. When I did ill, everybody talked about it. That's what happens. When you do something wrong, everybody will talk. When you do something good, no one will talk. That is how the things work. So we need to have this principle: mysticism and asceticism. That's why Jesus goes to the lonely place. He receives so much of criticism, he goes for mysticism. And he remains in asceticism, prayer and fasting, and then he manages himself. Principle followed by Jesus. In other words, he gives time for solitude, he gives time for multitude. That is the attitude of Jesus. He gives time for solitude to commune with the Father. And then he comes down and spends time with the people, multitude. That becomes his attitude. So if you have this attitude of balanced approach, time for solitude, time for multitude, the deep sense of gratitude, that becomes your new attitude. Then you'll be able to claim priestly altitude, in the sense you can claim new heights in your priestly claim. That's how we can manage criticism. Another element, jealousy. Among a priest won't be jealousy, I suppose. No one is jealous. You are zealous, not jealous. It all starts from our families. Sibling rivalry, we call it. Some are repeated up there. Flashbacks. Some are thinking of their Amma Viliyadu. Sibling rivalry. I was looking for some images of a jealous priest, but nothing I could find. I am not jealous priest. Jealousy is like, so jealousy because of the sisters. Jealousy. So you kind of will not let you grow because it cuts down your self-growth. It arrests. James 3:16. James 3:15 to 16. But jealousy and selfishness are not God's kind of wisdom. Such things are earthly, unspiritual, demonic. For wherever there is jealousy and selfish ambition, there you will find disorder and evil of every kind. These strong words about jealousy. The earthly, unspiritual, and demonic, and it will not allow you to grow. You will have only selfish ambition. Jealousy is mental cancer. It's like mental, it will eat you up. You cannot be happy. Jealousy is a mental cancer. It comes when you are making comparisons. Jealousy is the fear of comparison. The moment you begin to compare yourself with the others, either you go down or you feel proud. And jealousy comes only when you feel that you are inferior towards the other, when you are less competent. And jealousy comes from counting others' blessings instead of counting yours. I am not counting my blessings, I will start counting the blessing that the other person has received. That makes me to feel jealousy. Competition, comparison. Jealousy comes from counting others' blessings instead of our own blessings, my own blessings. How to handle jealousy? Accept it. Accept that you are jealous. Everyone will feel jealous sometime or the other. Never put down the person about whom you are jealous. Speak well of the person. It will be difficult, still you can try to speak well of the person about whom you are jealous. Learn from that person, because he is doing better than you something. So learn something from that person. Examine your insecurity. Why am I feeling insecure? What makes me to feel insecure in comparison with the other person? Examine your insecurity and be content with what you are. Be content with what you are, be content with what you have. That's how we can process out this emotion of jealousy. Otherwise, it will eat you up. It will not allow you to grow. Accept it, never put down, speak well of the person, learn from it, examine, be content. Because jealousy is a common emotion. So nothing to be afraid of when you feel jealous. It is there for everyone. is destructive, ruins relationships, poisons the religious, and then can be consciously overcome. When aware of it, you want to overcome, you can process it out. You can consciously overcome this jealousy. Always from here on, he starts gossiping, judgmental, spoiling the names of the others, criticism. Everything comes because of jealousy. Because I'm counting the blessings of the other person. I'm not able to have all this, but he has, and she has. So it can be consciously overcome. The last emotion, anger. Ephesians 4:26. Be angry. Do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger. So we say anger is only a secondary feeling. Anger is only a mask that is used to cover the primary feelings. These are the primary feelings. Annoyed, nervous, guilty, embarrassed, resentful. They are the primary feelings. I'm trying to cover these feelings with the mask called anger. So if you uncover this mask, you will find these feelings picked up. Feeling annoyed, feeling nervous, feeling guilty, feeling embarrassed, feeling resentful, feeling fearful, lot of fear inside, so I need the cover up called anger. So the moment I begin to deal with these primary feelings, anger, which is the secondary feeling, can be overcome, can be handled. And it is just one letter short of danger. So it needs to be anchored. Anger, if we add one letter D, it becomes a danger. So it needs to be anchored well, handled well. We see the transformers, where we have a signboard, no? It says danger. So anger is almost like a transformer. If you don't handle it well, then you get cast. And somewhat like that, some people are highly inflammable people. Highly inflammable. Like the tankers which carry diesel and petrol, etc. No? Highly inflammable. Some people are like highly inflammable. Anything and everything they get angry. Even the priest also from the altar they shout at people. And they speak about love of God. And then they shout at people at the same time. They say, let the little children come to me. Kingdom of God belongs to them. And then there are some children playing. Take these children away from the chapel. Why they are disturbing you? And he says, let the little children come to me. People get confused, you know. It happens at times. The moment you lose your anger, then you are conveying a double message. Very important for priests, missionaries, religious, how you handle this emotion. Otherwise you can land a serious trouble. People will not take you serious. You may be a highly intellectual person. If you don't have this emotional management, then you will get a sorry figure in front of others. All your messages will go in vain. Nobody will give weightage to your words. Because you are an angry person. We can get angry, but then that needs to be expressed properly. Right places, the right manner. The first thing you say when you feel angry is usually the worst thing you could say. When you get angry, no good words will come from you. You will not say, praise the Lord, hallelujah, Maria, when you are angry. The first thing that could come out of your mouth when you are angry is the worst thing that you could say. So, don't say anything when you are angry. Just you can remain like that. Otherwise, any word that comes from our mouth can damage the other person. Afterwards, very difficult to rectify. The first thing you say when you feel angry is usually the worst thing you say. So we can do three things when you are angry. The first thing is silence. Second thing, silence. Third thing is also silence. Silence is the best answer. Non-emotional response. or emotional situation. Silence. Not a passive silence, but a pacifying silence. You are pacifying yourself to find the solution to the problem. Because we have got two brains, emotional brain and rational brain. All those who have got brains, they will have these two brains. Rational brain, emotional brain. The emotional brain is hyperactive. Immediately it works. The rational brain is very slow. It is a thinking brain that needs time. It is like our guardian angel. The other one is like Lucifer. Immediately it works. Jumps. Very instinctual. Very destructive. That's why when you are getting angry, you need to give time. Silence gives time for your rational brain to work. Your thinking brain to act. It comes very slowly. So sometimes we use some words and afterwards I'm very sorry, I should not have said that. I should not have said that. That should come before. Afterwards feeling regretting. Saying something, doing something, afterwards we feel bad about it. So we need to reverse the process. We do and then think. Instead of that, we think and then do. So that you don't have to undo again what you did. That is this process. Always use the thinking brain, rational brain, over the emotional brain. So we need to engage non-emotionally the difficult persons and angry people. When they are angry, if you are also angry with them, then it never ends. War of words will be exchanged. There will be mudslinging. I throw mud on your face, you throw mud on my face. None of us will listen to each other. You'll be shouting at each other. You'll waste your energy. All the energy will be wasted. So instead of that, engage with them non-emotionally. Just listen to such people. Listen to them, whatever they want to say. After 5 minutes, they have nothing more to say. They say one word, you say another word, then they have counter arguments. And then it goes on and on, it never ends. Because we want to win over the argument. But what is important is not winning over the argument, but winning over the relationship. Otherwise, it becomes like operation is successful, but the patient is dead. I won over the argument, but I lost the relationship. What is the use of that? So, as priests of God, as missionaries, this is the approach. Non-emotional response to all the emotional situations. This should be our response, Elsa. Don't react, do respond. Don't react means giving my rational brain upper hand over my emotional brain. Don't react, do respond. Response always comes from our thinking brain, rational brain. Reaction comes from our emotional brain. So if we react, the environment is controlling us. If you respond, we are in control of the environment. They say, he only provoked anger. He only made you get angry. No, nobody can make you get angry. It's all how you interpret the situations. The external forces cannot be blamed for your internal reactions. Come what may, I know how to handle my emotions. He or she cannot be responsible for my emotions. Otherwise, they will be operating from outside. They have the remote control in their hands. They can make me happy, they can make me sad. So we will be at the beck and call of the other person. Whereas here, I take responsibility for my emotions. Whatever emotion may be, I choose, not because of the other persons. If we react, the environment is controlling us. External forces are controlling us. Whereas if we respond, we are in control of the environment. Some simple strategies to handle anger. Look, listen, love, laugh, liberate. Look at the persons, their eyes. Listen to them. Love that person. Laugh in the sense of smiling. Liberate. You liberate yourself, you liberate the other person also. So an angry husband was there. So all the time shouting at the wife. Always shouting, but she never reacts. It's very calm, composed. Then one day this man asked, how do you handle this anger? Never get angry, never react when I shout at you. Every day I am shouting at you. And then she says, whenever I get angry, I go and clean the wash basins. How does it help you? I do it using your toothbrush. So they have their own techniques. These anger management skills, simple ones, but they're effective. Haste makes waste. Hurry brings worry. Reacting, then you will be regretting it. Silence secures success. Silence softens the situation. Silence, you can win over the situations. Cool the self with cool water. When you are extremely angry, go and drink cool water. Cool yourself, cool water. Look into the mirror to avoid error. Whenever you are angry, go and look into the mirror. The mirror will break. Our face looks horrible when you are getting angry. Even the Miss World, Miss Universe also, they look so horrible when they get angry. Our face changes. No one looks pleasant when our face is angry. Whereas when we are smiling, our face looks much more better. So look into the mirror when you get angry at times. Count down to calm down. They say to count from 1 to 50 and 1 to 100. Some people have to count 1 to 1000. Only then they will calm down. That is not a magic. That is, you are giving time for your rational brain over the emotional brain. So the more you are counting, your thinking brain takes and it begins to think how I can respond to this situation. So that's how that helps. Count down to calm down. Otherwise you will be thrown down easily. Admit and submit to be a hermit. Admit that you have these anger issues. Submit to the divine. And you become a hermit. Hermit in the sense of yogi, mystic. And ultimately you are surrendering to the Lord. Your anger issues, everything is surrendered to the Lord. This might help us to handle our anger. That's why he said, anger is an acid which does more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than on anything on which it is poured. So if you are carrying anger, you are the vessel, container of the anger. You get more damage than the persons to whom you are getting angry. So anger is a vessel, acid, which does more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than on anything on which it is poured. In other words, anger is like taking the poison and wanting somebody else to die. You want your neighbor to die and you are taking the poison. I am carrying the charcoal in my hand, I want your hands to get burned because I am angry with you. That's what happens. That is the folly of anger. We think we are punishing the other, but we are punishing the self when we get angry. All our energy will be wasted. No good can come out of anger. So always the case we have. We lose a lot of psychic energy, spiritual energy will be wasted when we are burning it, fuming with anger. So that has to be handled with it. Some questions. What am I doing to nurture self-care, self-compassion? Do I find sufficient time for relaxation, recreation, rest, revival and renewal? How do I handle loneliness, judgments, criticisms, jealousy, and anger? What can be done to narrow down the generosity gap, compassion gap? Dalai Lama says, if you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. That is the best way to make oneself happy and to make others happy. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. us and